Alright, welcome back to another driveway. Today we're back in the house again, and we're going to be talking about insulation. So, currently in this house, like most old houses, there's no insulation in the walls, so while we have everything gutted out, it may as well time to put in a bunch of stuff. So, we'll be using a couple different products, and you'll just have to stick around and see what we do with it. Alright, well today we're going to be using a couple products. We've got some R15 standard fiberglass bats. These also come in R13 and R11. R15 is going to be the highest density and R value that you're going to be able to fit into a 2x4 wall. So we've got quite a bit of that. The downside with the R15 over the R13 is the R15 takes almost twice as much product to get that extra bonus 2 Rs. So it's approximately twice as much as the R13. So if you're running low on cash, usually the R13 will do just fine, because who really cares about the extra 2 Rs? But we're going for a slightly more maximum R value that we can fit. So at the very least, we're reusing some, well, not reusing, we're using some R13 from a previous build. There's some other walls that I used the R13 on, so we had a little bit of leftover of that we threw up in the walls, along with some of this R15 stuff that we got, so R14 wall. And then what I'm sitting on is some polyiso. Got a couple sheets of that. As you can see over here on the wall, some of it's already been put up, but this is just a foil-faced, inch thick. This is good for R6. So I'm using this to essentially bridge the gap from the 2x4s, because 2x4s themselves aren't super high R value, and also for some additional sealing to essentially make it so there's less air transferring from the outside to the inside. You reduce that, and you reduce the harmful problems that you have in the walls in certain climates. So, in addition to that, we also got some spray foam to seal up any cracks and crevices we run along the way. And we got our flashing tape that I've been using out here, because you can use some of that sheathing tape, but some of this asphalt or butyl style tape sticks a lot harder and won't degrade over time, so it'll never be an issue. So let's go over and talk about the reason for insulation and for what we're doing with this particular system. Okay, over here we have the basic exterior wall layout of an older house. They're built with these really large planks, big gap in the middle of them, because you know it's wood. So what I like doing is starting off over here in these corners, where you have the corner of the actual outside of the building. You tend to get air infiltrating in through these cracks. So a little bit of spray foam along the edges or in the cracks, and that type of stuff will help out that. But back to the purpose of what we're doing here. Okay, in cold climates, what you end up having is the warm, moist interior air running into the outside air, usually in the cavity of this wall. And what you end up having is frost freezing on the wall and then as it melts down and refreezes and all that type of stuff, your wood gets wet and everything goes to hell. So that's the reason why they put like this craft paper. Some further north you have like a fully plastic encapsulated insulation, and essentially it's just a vapor retarder. So it tries to mitigate the amount of moisture from interior migrating out here and catching on the wall. So insulation itself has no real bearing in this concept because this outer face is going to be deemed cold and the inner face will be warm, and you just have to slow down and mitigate that. So essentially over here we've got, I believe this is a little bit of R13 here. So you can see it's slightly squishier, more air, and it's the air in the fiberglass that actually helps generate higher R values. That's why the thicker the insulation, the more R you have. But what they ended up with this R15, which as you can tell isn't, because you can see this moves really slow, so you can see the air going in and out, and this one here is just straight up is pretty much dense packed fiberglass. So the dense pack will probably actually increase the resistance to air flowing through. So I tend to like using that on any place that comes close to a window, that type of thing. So if you're looking to save a couple dollars, you can just splurge on the R15 around the areas where you might get air infiltration, and then where you're pretty well solid, you can just go to the R13 and be fine there. So that's essentially the rough and lowdown of that. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that explains it in more detail. The big thing to pretty much remember is to cut and fit so it fits snugly against the wall and the floors and the ceiling, and not to just shove it in there. Because if you wedge it in, so say you had like an outlet or something here, and you just wedged it around that outlet, you've got all this open gap that all the air will infiltrate through and pretty much make it seem like you didn't even have fiberglass there to begin with. So if you got an outlet or any box, cut for that opening so you don't get this weird pucker thing going on. And same with the floor. Don't just wedge it in there. Take the extra time to trim it up. Okay, so that brings us to our section wall over here. We've already foamed in this edge here. We had to 2x4 out a little bit just to make sure we had enough room for our extra foam insulation to go on the inside. And after all that stuff that I was talking about with the whole vapor retarder and stuff, we got a knife. That'll do for now. So what we did is slice through the vapor retarder, because what we're doing is we're putting a different vapor barrier up. in the form of those foam sheets. So essentially you can't have two vapor barriers. You got to choose one vapor barrier and deal with that. Otherwise you could have fighting issues, and if you get some condensation pass through, you could get stuck between the two vapor barriers, and then you're foobar again. So we're leaving the completely exterior as the porous surface. So if there's any moisture that infiltrates into the wall, it will go out through the outside, nothing for the inside. So some people go the other route where you seal the outside and then you leave this inside just open craft face style and just be done. But multiple different ways to do it. It's kind of one of those things with all type of building. There's no real one way to do it. There's countless proper ways to do it, and there's also an infinitely more incorrect ways to do it. But we will pretty much just start off with one of these sheets. Now we got that. Let's get ourselves a section of tape here. And that part's sealed. Okay, now we've got that all lined there. We've got that gap towards the bottom there. That's what our quick bottle of foam is for. Alright, moving along to the other side. Moving along over here, we've got electrical box. So, let's just tuck the wires in the box. this guy about there. Give it a good couple smacks, and on the outside here you can see exactly where you need to cut. There you go, perfect fit every time. Alright, that's probably going to do it for this episode. I got foam all over my hands, but got our walls all nicely sealed up, ready to go. You can almost feel it being warmer in here already, less drafts. And according to like previous videos, it's probably a lot less echo in here as well. So let's just take a quick look around here again. Alright, for the most part we got that all taken care of. That one. We foamed around the outlet there to seal. So it seals off the air so we don't get anything flowing through there. Let's give it a little squirt around this one too, because we can. Alright, good enough. Alright, then we'll come through and trim that off with a knife when it cures up. But that'll pretty much do it here. We'll hold off on capping off the top here until I finish planning what to do for the ceiling. Because I'm thinking with this ceiling feature I'm going to make, I want to start part of the ceiling feature first before I butt the foam up against it. So that's all that. We got the same thing going on over here. So we almost got ourselves done. So just as a recap, R15 plus R6. So R21. That's a good place to be in on a wall. Then a lot of times with the furring strip and then putting the drywall on, you gain an extra 1R or something. So that'll be good. And over here along this wall, we'll probably do something creative and fun just for the heck of it. Alright, that's the recap. So I'm done with this for the day, and I gotta wash my hands. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.